Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Adele. If you're new, welcome. If you're a return subscriber, thanks for subscribing. Welcome back. If you're new and just watching, thanks for watching. I know I've been gone for a minute. Just to get you guys caught up real quick. If you've been following my channel, you know that I've been studying. So now I'm a licensed esthetician and I went to another makeup school, my second makeup school. And now I'm a professional makeup artist, although I still have to practice a lot of my skills as well. But we're not here to talk about that today. I'm going to go ahead and get into this makeup look. So if you'd like to see what I do, please stay tuned and watch. Okay, so I'm starting with the clean, fresh face. Since I've been sitting here, my face is severely dry. I actually have combination skin. I'm oily in my T-zones and dry around. Especially now that the weather has been getting a bit cooler, my skin has been peeling, so I'm going to go in with the Sunday Riley Ice Ceramide Moisturizing Cream. It's just a nice thick cream. It's a bit, if you like using the Nivea, like in the blue jar, this is a bit thicker than that. Or, it's like a creamy thickness compared to that. That's what I guess I could compare it to. Next, I'm going in with the JLo Beauty Eye Cream, that fresh take. The last thing I'm adding to my skin for hydration is the Drunk Elephant Virgin Marula Luxury Facial Oil. This is one of my favorite facial oils. So I'm going to start off doing my brows, and I'm going to use the Anastasia Brow Freeze. And I like to use a disposable spoolie. Just get a little bit on the spoolie. Even though it's disposable, I like using them because they're real easy to clean. And I don't have to worry about getting like a whole long brush. Plus, if I decided I didn't want it, I could just toss it. But I like using disposables for the brow wax. I'm going to go ahead and apply it to my brow and just brush up. And brush up, and then I start to shape in a direction in the desired shape I want. So I'm going to use a Morphe E29 brush and go into the Anastasia dark brown. And I use this first to put on my brows just to stick to the pomade, the brow gel, and it helps me just kind of mattify it. And I always start towards this side, towards the arch, and come down because I don't want a lot of product to be at the front of the brow. So I kind of just do this to kind of get my more so just to get my brow gel to kind of mattify a bit and to set it in place. So instead of using translucent powder, I just use a brow powder. Next, I go and use an Anastasia Brow Wiz in dark brown. I like to use a Brow Wiz because it has a finer tip and I can get the shape, the desired shape that I like. And I'm not worried if the brow's messy. I will definitely clean it up after. To clean up under my brows, I'm going to use the Tart Shape Tape, the original one. And this is in the shade 475 Tan Deep Sand. And I'm using a Luxie Precision Shader brush. I'm going to use a damp beauty blender to blend in that concealer. Now that I've cleaned up underneath my brows to see my shape, I'm going to go in with the Anastasia Brow Pomade, and I'm going to apply this to my brows to add an additional layer of a light layer to keep the brows longevity throughout the day. Since I already put down the brow gel This would just help darken the brows a little bit more and give it a bit of a longevity. So I load up both sides of the brush and I just start by the tail end and just do like little streaks and then bring it in some more. Next I'm going in with the Stay Naked Concealer by Urban Decay in the shade 70 NY to clean up the top of my brow. I'm going to use the same brush. For my final touch up of the brow, I'll go back in with the spoolie that had the gel on it and just brush back through it to make sure all the hairs are laying back down. I'm going to use this BH Cosmetics 103 brush. And I'm going to apply the Tarte Shape Tape, but this one is the creamy one, same shade, Tan Deep Sand 475. I'm going to apply this all over my lids. I'm going to use the Laura Mercier setting powder to set my eyelids. And I'm just creating the canvas to work on. That's a neutral shade. So I'm just going to do a simple look today, nothing big or anything. So I have some shades in my Z palette, and I'm gonna start off with, what shade is this? This is shade Angel Face by Colored Rain. Okay, so disclaimer, I don't know if any of these shades are in stock or still in stock or whatnot. I've just had this for a while, and I'm just gonna tell you what the shades are. So don't know if they're in stock or not. But this one is Angel Face. It's a nice nude color. I'm gonna use this as my transition shade, and I'm gonna use this in the crease. I'm gonna use a Morph M505 to start with. And for my eyes, I'm gonna bring you guys closer so you can actually see what I'm doing. My brush is loaded up with the shade. I'm gonna go right where it creases, right there. Put the brush in and do circular motions. And when you go in circular motions, it's actually spreading out the shade. It's easier to see when you do it with color. Next time I do this, I'll do it with color so you can see. And it gives it that nice blown out look. And I'm bringing it out as well. The next shade I'm going to use is called Gingerbread. It's by Colored Rain. And I'm going to use this in the crease as well. And I'm going to switch over to a smaller brush. This one is, I got this brush from a Walmart kit set. So there's no name, no number on it. I'm going back in the same spot. I'm doing circular motions. And I'm doing it also in the crease to build that up and then bringing it out. So I hope this helps if you struggle with blending eyeshadow or trying to get your eyeshadows to blend seamlessly. I hope this helps. As you can see, they're starting to become a nice transition between the light and the dark shade right here. That's what you want, but we're gonna go back and smooth that out a little more. And mind you, I'm gonna back up real quick. Mind you, I'm holding the brush back here, not up here, because you're up here, it's more like you're writing and it's stiffer. You want to give yourself a little more wiggle room. See? That's what you want. You want it to be a little loose. So as you're blending, it has room to move. And you're not applying a lot of eyeshadow in one area. Just a side note, hope it helps. And also, when you're blending your eyeshadows, take a step back, look at it in the mirror, and see if that's the color tone you want. So to me, that's a nice color grade. I can see it in the mirror, I can see it in the camera. That works for me. So I'm gonna go back in to that first shade on that Morph brush, and come back up where you see that transition and go right. So what you want to do is go right on top of it, literally where that transition, where that dark brown is, where it starts to coming light. You want to go directly right there on that spot and just blend in circular motions, and this is how you start smoothing out that shade. This is how you get rid of those harsh lines. Blending, blending, blending. That's why they say blending is key. Now mind you, because I feel like I lost some of that color tone, I'm going back in, but this time I'm dropping my brush a little. Instead of being like right up here in the crease, I'm not holding it directly like this. I'm holding it at an angle, and I'm not going directly in the crease. I'm dropping the brush a little and then going in and just building that color in. And I'm just doing circular motions again, just to bring that color back. I'm going to do a cut crease, and I'm going to use this flat brush. This is, I just like flat brushes. It's a thin flat brush, that's all I'm going to say. And I'm going to use the Tart Shape Tape, the creamy one. And just remember, everybody started somewhere. It takes time to practice. It takes time to get your skills up, so the more you practice, the better you get. So I'm just going to go ahead and let me zoom you guys in. So I go ahead and start putting it on the lid. And then if you want, you can do the trick where you look up and see where it leaves a mark. So that's where it left the mark at. And you want to go about that high or just a little bit higher for your crease. Now that I got the shape that I wanted for my cut crease, I'm going to go ahead and take the eyeshadow brush that had that brown on it, and you can add a little more if you like, or you might still have enough, and I'm just going to soften out the edges so you don't see a harsh line. I'm just going to double check this crease before I do that, and yeah. So when I need to soften out the edges, I'm just going to go in with the brush right near the edges and just lightly blend back and forth, and that way the eyeshadow lightly blends onto it, and it also mattifies that crease so it's not a harsh line. I don't know if you can see how it softened up right here. I just do light strokes, light feather strokes, and I raise my brow so that way I can see. I'm going to go ahead and now set my, I don't know what I want to do. I'm literally just going along with it. I wore this look before, got compliments on it, so I'm just going to recreate what I did, but I'm learning just as you guys are. So now I'm going to go ahead and set my lid, and I'm going to use that BH Cosmetic brush, the same one I used to put down the concealer, to blend out, well, the same brush I used to blend out my concealer around my brows. I just wiped off I'm just going to wipe down the product, wipe it off the brush on a paper towel. And I'm going to go in with the Laura Mercier powder. Just tap off the extra, and just before I do that, I'm going to make sure that all the creases are out before I set it with powder. I'm just going to make sure that there's no product sitting in the crease of my eye, so when I set the powder it's not clumpy. And then press that in with the sponge and then set it. I'm back the camera up so you can see. So that's what we have so far. Yeah, so I kind of just did this look, got some compliments on it, so I'm recreating it. But pretty much, those are some ways, that is how, hopefully that helps how you will blend your eyeshadow. I know this is a very detailed video. I'm a detailed type of girl, so hopefully it helps. If it does, please comment below, let me know if it does help or help you learn something. So yeah. Okay, so now that this one is done, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other eye off camera, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now that I got the eyes kind of how I want them for now, I'm going to go ahead and start on my face. I always start with mixing my concealer, my Stay Naked Correcting Concealer. I'm using this one as for coverage, not for highlighting. And I always mix this with my color corrector, which is the LA Pro, the orange one. And then I just dab a little bit of the orange where I need it. Now I'm just pressing it into the skin. That's all I'm doing. And then I'm gonna go back in with the Beauty Blender and further press it out so that the edges are a bit flat. Now that I got my coverage on, I'm going to set it with the Laura Mercier powder. I'm going to go in with my highlighting, and I'm going to use the Tarte Shape Tape. I'm going to use the creamy one, same shade. And I'm not pressing, and I'm literally just swiping it on in the areas where I plan to highlight. Now me, I like a brighter highlight. So this is my regular concealer, my skin tone shade, and this is my highlighter. To me, that looks really bright, but that's not bright enough to me when I put it on. Also, I think also because, it could be because I'm coming out of my summer shade, I don't know. For those of you who don't know what that means, when the summertime comes, your skin tans, when the wintertime comes, you get a bit lighter. Your skin tone gets a little bit lighter, so to me, that's bright, but I like my highlight a little bit more brighter. So I'm going to add in the Ulta concealer. This is full coverage liquid concealer in Fair Neutral. Go ahead and add this right on top to kind of lighten up those areas that I want a bit more brighter highlight. And I use my sponge. Mind you, I rotated it because once I have powder on it, and I didn't want it to set automatically, so I rotated to a side that doesn't have too much powder on it. Now that my highlight is on, I'm going to go ahead and contour. I'm going to use the Fenty Beauty contour stick. This is in the shade Espresso. And I'm going to use a brush, another one of those Walmart brushes. I tell you, they last. They're really good. So this one is just a nice angled brush, as you can see. And what I do is just go on the stick. And I'm using cream now. So I'm using cream for my contour. So that's a lot, so I'm going to go ahead and just stamp where I want it. I'm going to use a Real Techniques brush. This is a more dense brush. This is, say what brush it is, Expert Face Brush. And I'm going to use this to help blend in my contour. For my nose, I'm just going to squeeze the brush and just go down the sides. I'm going to use the Maybelline Fit Me powder in medium deep, and I'm going to mix that in with the Benai banana powder. So I mix those two powders together, and I'm going to use this Coastal Scents brush to set my face. Now I'm nice and bright. I used the wrong powder. Yeah, it's been a while. I used the wrong powder. We're gonna fix this. So I'm actually gonna use the Estee Lauder Double Wear powder and Sandalwood to set my face using that same brush. Next I'm going in with the NARS. I'm using this as my contour. Now I'm setting everything with powder now. I'm going to switch over to a wider brush, another angled brush. This one doesn't have a name. For my blush, I'm going to use this shade Torrid by NARS. It has a little reflex in it. And I'm going to use the same brush that I used to apply the contour. That powder brush. I'm just wiping it off. I'm going to use that same brush to apply my blush. I'm gonna go back into the lower Mercier powder to clean up my contour. Mind you, you don't have to do all these steps if you do decide to recreate this. I think I'm just being real extra tonight because I have nothing but time. I'm gonna use the same brush again for my highlight. For my highlights, I'm going to use Oh Darling by MAC. Also, I'm going to apply this shade to my eyes. This base shadow brush by Sephora. I'm just going to stamp that on the lid. So if you decide you want to step this look up, here are a few options. You can use the NYX, not these colors, but these are just suggestions. You can use the NYX Ultramania glitters. You can use the Urban Decay Heavy Metal glitters. Or you can use the Stila glitters as well. And what you can do is just get a smaller brush, such as this, like a small liner brush. And you can dip into the glitter and then, you know, apply it to your lid. Or you can just add some rhinestone accessories, you know. You can dress it up, dress it down, but this is a subtle look you can wear just about anywhere. So I'm going to use the Ulta Beauty Micro Felt Tip Liner in black. For my lashes, I'm just going to use the Ardell Fox Mink lashes. I'm just going to use the Duo Latex Free Eyelash Glue for underneath my lower lashes. I'm going to go back into my Z palette. I'm going to use a shade. It's called the Native. I'm going to use a smudge brush by Real Techniques to apply that shade. I'm going to go back over my lash band with this liquid liner. This is L'Oreal Carbon Black liquid liner, and that's just to cover up the lash band and make it blend a bit better. So I use a Kat Von D ink liner. Well, I guess they call it KVD. I will always call it Kat Von D. I like it because it has a longer felt tip, so it makes it more easier to go back and correct. But for those who may like a thicker liner, this is a great one to use. And everything I use I'll put in the description box below. For my lip, I'm going to use the MAC lip liner in Chestnut. I'm going to use the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Cream Brulee. This is a Real Techniques Precision Smudge Brush. I'm just going to go ahead and dip back into that MAC highlighter and apply that on my brow bone. I'm going to set my face with the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. Alright guys, so this is the final look. All the products will be listed below. If you did learn something from this video, please comment below, let me know, because it lets me know that I'm providing good information. If I said something wrong, if I said something that you didn't like, also please let me know. I really appreciate it. Judgment-free zone. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that like button if you did like this video and become part of this family. So thanks guys. Bye.